Welcome to episode 17 of the Showdown Podcast. I am Brad Scott. This is our Super Bowl spectacular episode. And we do have a quick change to mention. Vic, who has just been sitting here listening to Corey's constant racism over the episodes, finally got to be a little too black and angry. And he's putting the gloves on, taking off the striped shirt. He's passed the zebra suit over to me. I am your new official and host, Brad Scott. And
what's your name again?
It's Brad Scott. And so, yeah, we have a slightly new format for those of you who have already been listening. All 6 of you, you know how we used to do things. It's going to sound a little different this week and from here on out. But we think you're really going to like the change. And if you're just now joining us, where the fuck have you been? We've been waiting for you.
And don't listen to the previous 15 episodes.
Yes. Just starting at 16 episodes, actually. This is episode 17 of the Showdown Podcast. And this
Showdown!
There we go. Excellent work, my friend.
It took him a minute, but
still not as good as me. But,
I was going to do it earlier.
So this week's episode is our Super Bowl spectacular. We're going to have our second football-themed episode, and it's kind of ironic because this whole thing started with Coy and I arguing about football movies, and now the rebirth, if you will, the Showdown 2.0.
Showdown reboot.
The reboot, yeah, is Vic and Corey, and you guys also for your first match will be debating football movies. And this week's episode,
Football.
Corey,
oh God, don't start that.
has gone with Wildcats, which is a movie I didn't know existed. And
You didn't really?
I did not. And Vic is going with Invincible, a.k.a. Mark Wahlberg with a Boston accent, tries to become a football player. Neither of them chose the program. So, yeah, this episode's going to be great. But we're doing things a little bit differently. We're going to have categories. Those categories are going to be plot, acting, direction, production, music, and then the Haymaker round, which is something new we're adding, which is basically each of the guys' last, gasp opportunity to throw one last punch and try to knock the other out. And basically, we're going to figure out who won the most categories. If it's an even 3-3 split, we'll go with the total number of points in each category. Points are awarded by me, and they're based off good argument, and they can lose points for a dumb racist statement.
You're screwed. You're screwed.
So you have to step up your game, fellas.
Damn.
The argument's we're going to be needing some Harvard Law School type arguments out
Son
there.
of a bitch. You know those black guys don't like to study.
But so that's it. I think we're ready to take on this new adventure. We appreciate you guys listening, and please enjoy the Showdown Podcast, brought to you by. Apparently nobody's bringing this show to you. We don't have a sponsor.
No, maybe next week.
No one's giving us any money.
Well, go figure.
Yeah.
We should probably start panhandling at some
Maybe.
point. To keep this podcast free, we have sacrificed our Saturday afternoon.
Please go to Indiegogo and support us.
Go fund me. You know what people...
Kickstarter. I can put the other Kickstarter campaign.
You know what I say when people say go fund me? I say go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
The Showdown Podcast. Enjoy this episode.
All right, what's the first category? Where are we going to start
Plot.
with? Plot. All right. So, Wildcats is about a woman who grew up.
Great start for your football movie argument.
Hey.
This football movie is about a woman.
It is about a woman. It's about a woman who grew up around football all her life. Her father basically, I don't know, he didn't really teach her, but he had her watching the games. So she's all through her life, she has become very affluent with football.
Already.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, she gets to a point where there's a coach opening at the high school that she teaches at, and she wants to become a coach. So instead of being coach up there, she is shipped to the inner city where she becomes a high school coach, and she has to coach a ragtag team of characters and to help them help them feel better about themselves, and do one for women. You know.
So what you're saying is this is a remake of Bad News Bears with football. Yeah, just roll it. Just let it. Yeah, let it marinate.
What's yours about?
Mine is about a football player from Philadelphia who falls on hard time like many people did, and trying to figure out a way to make money and survive, steps up to the plate and tries out on a walk-on for the Philadelphia Eagles, and miraculously makes it.
Surprise, surprise.
They told me I couldn't play football. What do you mean I can't play football? I want to play fucking football. We play football.
So
say hi to your mother for me.
It's obviously down on your luck guy who makes good, and
so his movie is a remake of Bad News Bears, and yours is almost a literal sports shift remake of Rocky. You're basically Rocky on the football field.
Sure. I'll take Rocky over Bad News Bears any day.
All right. Well, if we're looking at cast, I'm sorry. No, I don't want to jump into that just yet. Yours seems to be a remake of Rocky, but I found it rather. I found it more boring than Rocky.
Hide behind the ref. That's a good move.
Hide behind the ref.
Yeah, the ref brought that up.
Oh no! Well, hey, he's putting facts out there. I'm just gonna go all over.
And I'm just throwing punches, so it's all good.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I actually was actually quite bored, and it's Disney took the plot, or they took the story of this dude
Vince
Papali, and they didn't even stick with the true story. They wanted to make it a this biography pick, this biopic of this guy that came out of nowhere and made it not really successful because he was only in the league for 3 years. But it was like this up and comer, but they put their own spin on it. And if you're going to take a biopic, you can't sit there and add facts that didn't really happen.
I felt like they did the same thing with Dumbo. I felt like
Dumbo was a biopic.
I felt like they took a lot of liberties with that movie.
Well, it's like the ending. The ending has him causing a fumble on the punt, and he picks it up and takes it in for a touchdown. Happened, but didn't happen that way. Because in real life, which they show in the closing credits, they actually show the clip of that happening, but it didn't really happen that way. Because at that time, in the rules,
couldn't advance.
You couldn't advance the ball. You couldn't advance the ball.
I see. You can read Wikipedia too.
So in real life, like did he actually still pick up the ball and run it into the end zone? Yes, he still picked up the ball and ran into the end zone.
However, not thinking he scored the touchdown, but always, if you're that close to the end zone, people will pick up the ball and run into the end zone no matter what. So if you're trying to play that one. However, if you're going to go with they're changing a biopic into something, they change the timelines of the way things happen and the way that things set in the movie, but all of it still happened. The whole part about him being down on his luck and out of work and all that stuff happened before he entered, the World League of Football.
I'll give you that,
and then they just changed the storyline a little bit.
But they took a lot of liberties with the actual events that happened, like that, like I said, and they played it in the movie to where he scored the touchdown and won the game for him. But in reality, that didn't happen. Just like
in reality, they weren't really trailing in that game either. They won that game 30-7. So.
Right. So
I mean,
exactly.
It's a movie. Obviously, they're going to take liberties.
And then in the opening scene, they lose to Cincinnati, and somebody says, "Oh, we lost to a weaker team." Well, that team actually.
Word for word from Wikipedia. I love this guy.
I'm just looking at facts here
from Wikipedia.
I'm not saying where I found this information.
I'm saying where you found it.
And the dialogue says that they lost to a weaker team, but actually they went on. Cincinnati actually was a better team and went on to the AFC Championship. So, I don't like, if you're going to make a biopic, the point is that don't sit there and spit out information that supposedly happened when people that have football knowledge and that can actually look it up online, especially, and see what actually happened. You can see that that's not right. Don't put that out there. That's just Disney-fying this story. If you say, well, they had to add it to make it a better film to give it that story, then maybe you shouldn't do it at all.
Technically, they didn't have to add a whole lot of stuff. They just, like I said, they rearranged it to make it fit into what they wrote. But I mean, when you're really talking about a football movie, you're talking about a guy who's everybody. There's not a person in the world that hasn't sat on their couch watching a football game, going, "Oh, come on, you bum! You can do better than that." Blah 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 blah, and never ever would have the opportunity to step up, walk onto a field, try out, and actually make it. That was what the story is about, was him overcoming the odds.
There have been guys that have done that, though.
There's not many, and if any of us were to do it, what do you think would happen?
Oh, I would be awesome.
You'd be that dude with the green cape. That's what would happen.
You'd be a solid nose tackle.
I was a nose tackle, actually.
Yeah, you'd be a solid nose tackle.
And a defensive end.
I was thinking, I don't know, maybe offensive line.
No. Well, no. Defensive, all defense. But,
defensive, offensive line. I mean, you're just both running into another big guy and getting. That's what I love.
I'm just looking at the size, though.
If a receiver gets hit in the NFL, like in the head, they're like, "Oh my god,
he's gonna
have a
die."
concussion. Keep him out 6 weeks."
Right.
But yet, every single play, these giant 300-pound men are just bashing their heads into each other.
And they're like, "Oh, he'll be all right."
We're like,
help him up.
Come on, this line is terrible.
Oh my God! The quarterback got sacked. Well, because your center got knocked out. So either way, playing on let's talk about the Wildcats then.
Okay.
So you have this chick who, yes, loves football. Yes, knows a lot about football. Wants to emulate her dad's success. Decides that she wants to be a coach. Which, when it's all said and done, I've played a lot of football in my life, and I've known a lot of coaches, and I've seen a lot of people who all of a sudden, like this football coach has control over the decision on what's being done at that school. Puts the gayest dude ever in as the JV coach. Let's talk about the what's his name, Rico or Romeo or whatever the hell his name was.
Do we have a Latin RJ on our hands?
Oh God, yes. This dude is the home ec teacher, knows nothing about football, and this guy walks in, he's like, "Oh, by the way, you should become the coach of Central High School." Everybody and their mom knows that as soon as this whole thing goes down, all of a sudden this movie is going to be her versus him. Like, as soon as I saw that, you're like, I don't need to watch the rest of this movie because I know what's going to happen. She's going to go there. She's going to flash her tits a couple times. They're going to fall in love with her. They're going to all of a sudden respect her. And then all of a sudden she's going to win the big game.
Well,
that's the whole movie. Literally, that's the entire movie.
Well, in my defense, she only flashed her tits once, and she was in the bathtub. There's a difference. But still, yes, they did hire a very effeminate man to be the JV coach, but that was despite her because he was afraid of her. He
wasn't afraid of her.
He knew that he didn't want her taking his job at
She
one
wouldn't
point.
give it up to him. And she wouldn't go out on a date with him, so he dicked her. That's what actually happened. That's what actually happened.
That may have played.
And he beat her at racquetball. Oh.
No,
which he didn't even. Which, if you know anything about racquetball, she hadn't scored but 1 point on him, and they're like, "Oh, the score is 3-1. Your point." No.
Well, they didn't see the other two. That was before the cameras were rolling.
There was no change. So either way. I did like the shorts though; those are quite attractive.
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous.
The shorts kind of bordered on.
John
maybe?
Stockton.
No, it was just a weird cut to them. I mean, they were like almost you could see ass cheek, but at the same time you couldn't.
It sounds like the John Stockton.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Yeah,
it's kind of odd. But okay, so let's go a little bit more into that story for Wildcats. So she decide, like, after they basically dissed her completely, she decides that she's going to quit. Every 5 minutes, this woman's trying to quit. So that shows a lot of fortitude. So then she decides that she's
just like a broad, huh, fellas?
She decides that she's going to prove something to them and race them all around the track. And if any of them drop before she does, she has to be respected as the coach. Okay,
because she knew she could.
Because she knew she could. However,
distance running.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and all of them agreed to it because they're stupid teenagers. Actually, I don't think there was one person on that team that was under the age of 25, except for Peanut and the little Hispanic kid.
So it's like a Beverly Hills 90210.